She's really good at it.
I know how to change the voices.
Oh, really?
Nice.
What are you going to make us sound like?
I know.
I can.
Oh my god.
Are you hearing me?
Oh my god.
I can have this one.
Oh my god!
Oh my god, Donna, that's so cool.
No, you have one.
Oh.
No way.
That one is yours too.
This one? No, that one.
Oh, mine.
Oh,
I need this one for court.
Oh my god, that is.
Hello, my name is Dana Garza, and my name
my name is Ximena. Ximena Villarreal.
and welcome back to the Comadre Chismosas.
Woo! I like the background music.
I love the background
I
music.
hadn't done that for mine.
Yeah, they have background in there. It's the Comadres Chismosas. Love it.
Okay.
And do you know what means las Comadres Chismosas or no?
So what does it mean, Comadres Chismosas?
I know.
Tell us.
It's the ghostly woman's.
Gossipy woman. Yes. Yeah, it's like us being gossipy, sharing our
Really?
little stories and your perspective as through your position as well as Dalinda's. So it's an exciting episode that we want to do so we can get more outreach to exposure to these kids that are interested in these careers specifically. So we're really excited to have you and to hear your story and your perspective.
Thank you. It's great to be with you.
Of course. You want to start with the first question, Dana?
Yes, of course.
Or you want to introduce?
There you go. Yes.
Yes, before we start with the question, my
Yeah.
apologies.
Our special guest today is Texas Supreme Court Justice Brett Busby.
Yes, thank you so much for being here with us.
It's great to be with you all. Thank you for the invitation.
And then, of course, our CEO, Dalinda Gonzalez Alcantar.
Hey, I got that sound. My favorite. Thanks for letting me hang out with you guys.
Okay, I'll start with the first question. Okay, we're
Okay.
going to it's awesome to have you visit the Boys and Girls Clubs of here in McAllen. And are you ready to start this podcast with answer a few questions?
Yes. thank
Okay,
you.
I'll start with the first question. So, Supreme Court Justice Busby, can you talk about what you do and how long you have been in the Texas Supreme Court?
So I've been on the Texas Supreme Court for 7 years. I was appointed in 2019 by Governor Greg Abbott to join the court. Before that, I was a judge in Houston on the Court of Appeals, and before that, a lawyer in Houston in private practice. And what we do on the Texas Supreme Court is we're the highest civil court in the state. So any case that where people disagree and want the legal system to help resolve their disputes, they can come to a court in their community and have them decide the case. And then if they don't agree with what happens there, they can file what's called an appeal and get a higher court to decide it. And eventually the case can come to us, and we can say what the law is that applies to that case across the whole state of Texas, so that it's clear for everybody and they know what their rights and obligations are. And we hear about 100 cases a year out of about 1,000 cases that people ask us to hear. We hear about 100. Yeah. And we have a YouTube channel for the Supreme Court of Texas. So if people want to see what we do, they can get on our YouTube channel and see the questions that we ask the lawyers when they come and talk to us, so that we can get good information about how to decide the case based on the law.
Wow, well, we'll definitely be checking out that YouTube channel.
Can you say the name for it?
Sure, it's the Supreme Court of Texas.
Oh, okay.
And if you look on YouTube and put that in, we have our own channel there, and it has the recordings of all of our oral argument sessions.
Wow, and this is after the Court of Appeals, right?
Yes.
Oh, so it would be like an appellate, or is that how you say
Yes,
appellate?
appellate.
Appellate jurisdiction. Wow. I'm taking a government class right now, so
Great.
it's coming in handy a little bit as you talk, your lawyer talk.
Yes.
Yes, very nice. Would you want to do the next question then?
Yes. What do you do to get to your work right now?
So I'm really lucky. I live very close to my job in Austin, so I just have to get in my car. It takes me about 10 or 15 minutes to get to work. I'm very lucky to be close.
Awesome. And what did it take you, if you can walk Miss Donna and Ximena, what did it take you to get to your position? What was that journey for you?
Sure. So I went to college, and I got a public policy degree, but you can get any kind of degree if you're interested in law. Your undergraduate degree can be in anything. And then you have to go to 3 years of law school to become a lawyer. And after that, you have to pass a test to get a license to be a lawyer, to show that you know all the rules that you'll need to know to be able to help somebody with their legal problems. And once you get a license, you start representing people in court or helping them with their business issues. And you have to do that for about 10 years and get enough experience, and then you can either run to be a judge as a candidate voting in an election for judges, or you can apply to the governor and he can appoint you to an opening on the court.
Wow, you made it seem so simple, but I'm sure it's
I'm
so
like,
much
oh,
more
that's so
difficult.
easy. No, it's not.
You simplified the process. That's amazing.
Yes.
It's a long journey, but you learn really valuable things along the way. And when you're a lawyer, you're really handling the most important problems for people sometimes in their lives. So you want to be sure that you get a good education and work hard so that you can take care of those problems for people really when they need you.
Yeah. And how did you know you wanted to be a lawyer? Like, what was that spark?
So when I first thought about it, I thought I might want to be involved in the legislative process, either, maybe running for office as a state representative or something like that at some point and helping make policy for the whole state. But once I actually got into law school, I discovered that I really liked the process of being in court and helping people settle their disputes fairly. And often you'll have a jury that will help decide the case, which are all citizens and from across the community who will help decide what happened in a case and who's right and what the outcome should be. And so the lawyers, I really enjoyed that process of, how do you present your side of the facts to a jury and have them understand what's happened to your client and see it, that your client is entitled to get the court to help them with whatever their problem is.
Very interesting. A lot of lengthy process, but it sounds like you're very passionate about it.
I really
specifically
enjoy it.
about the court part.
Yes.
Dana, do you want to ask the mentor question, the number 4?
Yes. But what happens to number 3?
We can go over it. We can go to number 4.
Okay. As a club member, we come across many mentors. Do you have a mentor you look up to and I listen to they share with you that you can share with us?
Well, I've been really fortunate to have a lot of wonderful mentors in my career, and one of the things that I learned, one of my first mentors was a judge that I worked for after law school on the Federal Court of Appeals in Florida named Jerry Choflat. And one of the things that he taught me as a lawyer is the importance of always doing the right thing, and that sometimes your clients may ask you to try to help them in a way that's not based on what the rules require us to do. And so, we obviously want to help our clients, but we've also got to uphold the law. And so you're not really helping your client if you're trying to seek an unfair advantage or do something that the rules don't allow you to do. You've got this whole process only works if everybody pursues it the way that the law requires it and the way that's the right thing to do. And so that's really important for lawyers to always be watching that they need to do the right thing.
Mm-hmm. Would you say then that it's really important? It sounds like one of the things that I heard from that comment is it matters who you surround yourself with and who your mentor is, because sometimes, like I know Dana, Fatima, Ximena, our kids here, who they surround themselves with oftentimes is who they then become. So would you say that, you spoke about that particular judge speaking into your life and saying you just always have to do the right thing. Would you then say to our club members and anyone listening today that who you spend your time with really matters?
Absolutely. And that's one of the wonderful things about an organization like the Boys and Girls Club is that there are wonderful people who you can surround yourselves with and wonderful people who you can learn these life lessons from. And so you want to, also it can be hard to do the right thing sometimes. And so you need that support from your friends, right, to encourage you and help support you when you choose to do that.
And I have a follow-up question to that. Since you mentioned that this mentor was from an internship you had, right? Mm-hmm. What steps would you advise a club member that would be interested in pursuing that type of career? What steps would they do to get these internships?
Sure. So during law school, a lot of the different law schools will have opportunities for the law students during the summer or sometimes during the school year with their classwork to get out and work in different types of law. And I always encourage people to really take advantage of those. And honestly, even if your school is not getting you the opportunities you want, if you see somebody in your community that has a law practice that you think you may like to do that kind of law, just call them up and say, hey, can I come and see what you do? Maybe follow you to court and just watch. Because there's many different types of legal problems and ways that you can help people in the law. And so part of it is learning what you like, what you enjoy, what you're passionate about, how you want to help people in the law. And the best way to do that is by doing different internships in different areas. But don't be shy to ask. These lawyers who are out there, they're serving as lawyers because they want to help people, and they also want to help the next generation of lawyers coming along learn how to be good lawyers and what they're passionate about in the law.
For sure. Well, I'm going to plug our board president, Cynthia, because what you just described is what happened with Cynthia Gutierrez and with Ximena. And so Ximena has a clear direction of what she wants to do. And I think we can read about careers and we can see them on TV, but Ximena would come back and tell us all the time how the internship gave her just a clearer picture of what they do. And it's to be able to shadow, to be able to be mentored by someone, and you've really simplified it, which is we can just get on the phone and call and ask. My mom would always say that, never hurts to ask.
That's
right. And so we have that here at our Boys and Girls Club, that our board members, our current board president said yes to that internship, but all of our board members always, do you need anything? And we're going to do a better job this year of plugging in more students, more of our kids to those internship opportunities because of how wildly successful that one went. So
yeah.
Wonderful.
Oh, yeah. For me, I was going to add that it was because of this podcast, actually, that I had the opportunity to do an internship with another lawyer before Cynthia, and it was a criminal defense attorney.
Right.
And that exposure, combined with Cynthia's, allowed me to realize that I want to do something in the business law aspect of it. So I think it was because of that exposure and getting to get those internships that I realized that I would have rather done this area of law instead of criminal defense.
Fantastic. Well, you're ahead of most law students already in knowing what type of law you want to do, and that's really a wonderful head start.
Thank you so much. I think it's a very valuable lesson for other kids that are wanting to explore those interests. I know for me, I thought law was very scary, very serious and, very straight to the point. But I think having that exposure, I realized that it was something that I could be passionate about.
Right.
And now I'm even excited to, save up these scholarships to one day go to law school.
That's wonderful. And really, I think a lot of people do, sometimes their only exposure to the legal system is a negative one. And so that's why I think opportunities like this are so important. We started a program in Houston where we go into 7th grade classrooms and teach people about what the courts do and how law helps people, just so that they have a positive association with it and realize, what a wonderful helping profession the law can be.
Oh, yeah. That sounds like an amazing opportunity.
for sure.
I think something related to it is that Cynthia is currently collaborating with, maybe one of the judges at the Hidalgo County courthouse. Mm-hmm. And we're going to take some kids during spring break to go tour the courthouse.
Wonderful.
Yeah, so it'll be a lot of exposure, kind of similar to that, so they can see, that aspect.
Terrific. And it's a beautiful new facility. I was over there today, and so it's nice to be able to take advantage of it and show it off to the community.
Oh, yes.
Absolutely.
Do you want to follow up with a fun question then on number 5? It's a fun little question.
What was your favorite subject in the school?
Wow, let's see. I really enjoyed my English classes, reading and writing. That's a lot of what we do as lawyers is reading and writing, so it's good to enjoy those things if you think you might want to be a lawyer. But I've also played the violin since I was 3 years old, and so I enjoyed orchestra. Wow. That was one of my favorites also.
Love it. Love the sound.
Very talented creatively.
That's really neat. That's really, really great. Would you say that music and the arts is important for kids?
Absolutely. When I was in Houston, I was on the Houston Symphony Board, and we really supported programs of bringing kids in to be able to hear music live and get a chance to know about the different instruments. And I continue to play even now, and it's wonderful, even though I'm not a professional musician, to have that experience, have that way of working with other people collaboratively to play beautiful music together. And it's also a great mental break. When you're doing your day job, sometimes you just need a break to do something fun, and being able to play beautiful music and get the mental recharge from that. It's great to have those sorts of of fun activities that you do that you can do for your whole life.
Well, I know it's not the violin, but for my birthday, one of my directors, for the same reason, we're in the middle of a capital campaign and we're raising millions of dollars. And I started to notice that I needed a break from myself. So I'm learning to play the ukulele.
Good for you.
Okay.
Yes. So at 45 years old, I'm picking, thank you, Donna. I'm picking up a new instrument so that I can just disconnect, and I love it, and it's a challenge. And so, but I appreciate that you said that the arts are important. We really value the arts here at the Boys and Girls Club. We have a very large theater program. We have a drum line, but we're continuing to expand those opportunities because I do think they're super meaningful for kids. Absolutely.
That's amazing. It's great that,
That
you're
goes
giving
in
kids.
line with your growth mentality that you always talk about.
Always.
Yeah, even still
Always.
constantly trying to learn new habits and skills. Very
Constantly.
good mentality.
Yes, thanks, Ximena. Yes, absolutely. I know. I always say that to our kids, and so then I said, you know what? I need a way to learn something new that is completely separate from, the responsibilities, which is such a privilege to be able to lead this out. But I did notice that I needed to find something new, and I've always wanted to play the ukulele.
And now you
so
can.
so now I'm learning
That's great.
every time. Love it, Donna. Thanks, Donna.
So one of the few last questions would be for me personally and for Dana as well. Dana is about to become a middle schooler, so she is asking for some advice for that. And then after that, I'll ask my own question.
Okay. What advice for middle school? Well, one of the things you get to do in middle school is you can pick some more of your classes, right? So there are classes you have to take, but you get to, as you get into middle school and high school, you get to pick more classes and really think about what is it that I want to learn more about so that you can get really engaged in it. Another thing that's great to think about, there are the extracurricular activities that you get to do, like for example, we were talking about orchestra. That's a great extracurricular activity. Middle schools often have a lot more of those. And so it's something that, you can look for a hobby or something that, a sport that you want to play, an instrument that you want to play that you can enjoy for your whole life. My daughter did softball and played on a softball team. And that's a wonderful way to learn, good team skills, be healthy, move your body, and have some fun all at the same time.
Well, and I want to give a shout out to Donna because as a fifth grader, we have a program here called Elevate, and it's in partnership with our school district. And so it allows kids from all across the city to be able to access quality youth sports programs.
Wonderful.
And so super shout out to Donna because she is now in Elevate and she just finished her season of volleyball.
Congratulations.
So we're very excited for Donna trying new things. I think that takes a lot of courage to try something new. And I'm trying to push her to try other sports. So we're hoping to get her signed
I
up.
was going to play basketball, but then the coach said it's because only 2 persons register in the Boys and Girls Club, so we're not gonna make a team.
All right. I'll get with you on that later, sis.
Now
We're
don't
going to
get
have a
don't
team.
worry,
Thank you
we'll
for
make it
letting
up.
me know that. We're going to work on that. You're going to be on the team. So
Yes.
stay tuned. All
And
right.
I actually started with the Boys and Girls Club through sport programs like Elevate when I was younger. So it was
Great.
because of that exposure that, later on as a high schooler, I volunteered and I got to have these amazing experiences of going all the way to DC to advocate for issues. And so I would definitely give more credit to the sports, but also the fact that the club has other programs that can expose kids to like public speaking and to, talking about issues being faced. And that kind of leads back to my question, which is apart from seeking exposure to these different, internships and different areas of law, what other advice would you give to me and to other prospective students that are wanting to pursue a career in law and even maybe as a Supreme Court justice?
Sure. So, as we were talking about earlier, there are a lot of different things you can do in the law, and you have to think about your why. Like, what do you enjoy doing that helps people, and how there are different ways that can fit into the law. There are ways that you can help people who have been victims of crimes. You can help people with family situations. You can help people get their businesses started. There are so many different ways to help people in the law, and there's very specialized ones too, like international trade, and all sorts of different ways that the law helps structure people's relationships. And really, part of the idea here is that when you're interacting with other people and you're building something together or trying to resolve a dispute together, everybody wants to know what the rules are, right? That hasn't changed since from the age that you all are going all the way up. People want to know what the rules are because then you can plan, right? Then you can decide, okay, well, here are the rules, and so now here's my plan to be able to succeed with those rules in mind. And so the law is really, that's the set of rules, and how do you work with those to be successful? And so, just everybody who wants to be a helper in their job. Law is a great way to do that, but there's different types of law that you can use to help people. So just learning more about that, you can learn online, you can look up resources on the web, talk to attorneys in your community to be able to see what those are and different ways of helping speak to different people. So it's great to be thinking about that as early as you already are.
Thank you so much.
As we end, I always like to ask the adults this one question because I think it's super important for our kids and our teens to know this. I'm going to preface it by saying that our kids and our teens, because of social media, they tend just to get the highlight reel of people's lives. They get to see when they are now uberly successful, but they don't see the process of it and mostly the failure. And so I always like to ask adults to share a time in which they failed and then through that they succeeded, if you don't mind sharing that with everyone.
No, I'm so glad you asked that because I actually tell lawyers about this, people who are just starting out in their career, because I was a judge on the State Court of Appeals in Houston for 6 years, and I won my first election in 2012, but I lost my second election in 2018. And for judges, when you run to be elected as a judge, a lot of times the outcome is not based on what a good job you're doing or not. It's based on what else is going on in the political world at the time, who's running for president, who's running for Senate or governor, things like that, because people don't know very much about the judges. So I didn't take it personally that I lost, but that's a big failure, a very public failure in your career. And so you have to think about, what am I going to do next? And I was very fortunate. I prayed about it. I was very fortunate to have really good friends who I could go to and say, what should I be doing next? And so I started to look into those options. And then I was so blessed to be called by the governor and ended up getting appointed to my dream job on the Texas Supreme Court after losing my election on the Court of Appeals. And so I think it's a great lesson of, don't give up, right? It's just a temporary setback. If you have the mindset of, I should still be talking to my people who are supporting me, looking around for other opportunities and trying to make the most of what I've already learned and carry it into a new role or a new perspective that you can have, a new opportunity. So
I love that. Thank you for responding to that. I'm listening to you and saying, can you imagine if you had given up? Can you imagine if if that failure was it for you? What a different life you would be living, right? And what a blessing it is because hopefully you gave yourself a day. Maybe you ate some ice cream, some fried chicken, but from there, then you decided to bounce back. And I encourage, all of our adults to share those failures because unfortunately our kids and teens are only seeing the best of.
Right.
They're only seeing the highlight reel. And it's really hard sometimes to realize that there is a process or in an instructional process of failing to then learn from that failure. Because I bet you anything from your election, you were able to look back and reflect and say, maybe I would have done things a little bit differently, but in that there was learning. And so could you really call it the pure definition of failure? And I always want our kids and teens to know that these are just setbacks. These are just minor setbacks. And then how cool that you were able to then move from that, and what a blessing that you now are sitting in your dream job.
And that's so true because mistakes are not bad. They're just learning opportunities if you look at it that way. Einstein made mistakes before he invented, some of the theories that explain how the whole universe works. So it's not. You shouldn't be down on yourself because you've made a mistake. That's an opportunity for learning and growing and becoming the best version of yourself.
Thank you for sharing that. I appreciate that.
Thank you so much. It's a really good perspective to share because as Dalinda mentioned, we don't really have that exposure to the hard parts of it. You can look at the title and be like, oh, it's an amazing title, but what was the process behind it? And what setbacks or challenges you had to persevere through. So really good message of persevering through for our audience and of course for me and Dana. But thank you so much for being here, for joining us, for sharing your perspective and your story, and Dalinda as well for being an amazing co-host. Dana, you want to close out our last comadre chismosas?
Yeah. Thank you for watching this episode of the Comadre Chismosas. See you next time. Bye.
I love that.